All right, everybody. Joined by Coach Gasso. Coach, if you want to just do a brief recap of Hawaii and then what you're looking forward to at Hall of Fame Classic.
I think it's hard to be brief on that one. It was a great trip, wonderful for Jocelyn Allo, wonderful for our team. We got to experience a full flavor of their culture, which was really exciting for our team as well. Many of them have not been to Hawaii. I thought we played well. The challenges we're dealing with now is just the jet lag, and you can see it on them. So we're just trying to get back to our schedules and trust that we'll be ready to go this weekend.
Start with Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Patty, I have a couple questions, but starting off with that, what you just mentioned, how have you gone about, getting them back to where they need to be for this weekend, given that jet lag?
I didn't practice real hard yesterday. Just wanted them to get their bodies moving. So we're doing a lot of recovery, a lot of flushing. Some massages have been happening for some of these guys. Trying to set up their schedules to get back on schedule. So we're getting them up to work out at 9:30 in the weight room, then our regular practice in the afternoon. So they might take a little nap. We talk to them, naps are no longer than an hour, and then try to get back to sleep at your regular bedtime. And I think today, personally for me, today was the hardest day to get up. I don't know why, but I know it'll get easier as we go forward. It doesn't last that long, so we'll be ready.
And then wanted to ask you about Hope. We got a chance to talk to her just a few minutes ago. From your perspective, what was your process in finding her in the transfer portal, making deciding she was the right fit, and just what was that like, and what kind of growth have you seen from her, since she's arrived here?
To me, it was a no-brainer. JT told me her name was on the portal, and I called her. I'm looking out at center field. I called her when I was standing in center field, because when you get big names on, you got to get at them real quickly. So luckily she answered the phone, said she was interested. I just remember facing her, and she's tough, and her presence, she's tall and she's strong. She handled us very, very well. So I knew that she would be somebody we would be interested in. She was an easy fit, talking to her on the phone, really easy, really engaging. You probably felt that just by talking to her. Very sweet smile, good personality. What she has done with us is just learn a lot about pitching. And I think her training was not maybe getting the most out of her. And I feel like we're starting to tap into that now. So much so that she's talking about wanting to be a pitching coach. So she is planning to be our grad assistant with us next year. And it's almost like she's a kid in a candy store, just so like, I never knew this. And, oh, what's that? What are you talking about? Oh my gosh, wow, let me try that. It's like a whole fresh new perspective that's really paying off on the mound. So she is a perfect, wonderful fit here, and just a joy to work with on a daily basis.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Patty. Good luck this weekend.
Sure. Thank you.
Go, Abby Bitterman.
Yeah, Patty, also sticking with some questions about Hope. Just what were your expectations for her coming into the season, and then how has she kind of performed to those, in your opinion?
Well, we knew that we had to have at least 3 really strong pitchers, and my expectation, she was going to be one of those, and she has. I just think she still has a lot to give. I think the way we want to use her, we could use her as a starter, we could use her as a closer. So she can come in and really offset Jordy, offset Nicole May. There's a rhyme and reason of how we want to use them against certain competition. But she had a great weekend out in Hawaii, had a lot of strikeouts, threw the ball hard. Felt like she was throwing really hard this weekend. So we need her. In order to win, we need Hope to be good.
And then I also wanted to ask, you mentioned, the possibility of her becoming a grad assistant for you and how she's interested in being a pitching coach. Just what characteristics about her do you think would translate well into coaching?
She has a really comfortable tone about her, very happy person. And I think pitchers need someone like that. I think they respond to someone who has pitched and has been in those big games, and Hope has already been in some of those big games, even from North Texas. So I think her experience and her delivery is going to be very popular with pitchers.
Thank you, Patty.
Sure. No, that's going into every game. I have no idea unless they tell me. I've had 2 coaches come up and tell me, yes, before the game, we're pitching to her, or no, we're not pitching to her, and here's why. And I don't want to hear it. If you're not pitching to her, don't talk to me about it. I didn't know because I think you could look at it a bunch of different ways. Like, this is a Hawaii girl that didn't stay in Hawaii, so I'm not going to let her break the record here. I think he was genius. Their coach was genius, and here's why. If you don't pitch to Jossie, everyone's going to boo you. And it's not just Oklahoma fans. Hawaii fans are going to boo you. So it was her last at bat, and he brought in a pitcher who had thrown 2 innings. And I don't know, but I felt like it was almost scripted. So she throws up a fat pitch, boom, it's out of the stadium. Everybody, I mean, it's a smaller stadium, but you could feel the energy everywhere. And when she crossed home plate, Jossie got a lot of hugs, and their coach happened to have a lei in his dugout. So he comes over, presents the lei, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm just like, where did that come? So he walked away, he got a standing ovation. He takes out the pitcher, she gets a standing ovation. It's like a win, 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 win for everybody. But I thought he played it, it was scripted, but classy at the same time, I guess. So he looks like a hero because he pitched to her. The pitcher's already reached out to Jossie, put something out on social media. She's getting a lot of responses back. So I think it was a win-win, where every coach that we played otherwise was like, you're not going to do this to us. It's a curse. We're not going to do that to our program. We're not going to do that to our pitcher. But the opposite has happened, and absolute praise for competition is what I have felt has been happening.
On Hoover.
Hey, Patty, thanks for sitting in with us today. We appreciate it. I've heard you say a couple of times, I think after the Minnesota game, even maybe that you thought this team was playing at a level out of 10, you would rate them as like a 6. And I've been kind of interested as to, what goes into that. And I heard you say on the radio yesterday, little things, girls taking care of their business, handling things off the field, making sure your mind is right, your body is right, everything's right for practice and whatnot. And then I heard you, they gave you a question about NIL. And if I understand you correctly, there may possibly be some kind of correlation between this new phenomenon and how your team is reacting to it. Did I read that right? And can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it definitely could be, but because we don't know a lot of what is going on in their lives with the business side of things, it could be. It could be taking their attention away a little bit. And I think any coach would say that. So you've got 18, 19-year-olds having new responsibilities in order to make money. And that is, I got to get on my phone and I got to put out posts and I've got to do this or that. I don't know. And that's what's hard from a head coach is like, we don't know. I don't know all of their business transactions. I don't know what they're doing. I can see it a little bit on social media, but I choose not to dive into all of that. For the most part, I think when we're playing, they're focused. When I'm talking the little things, it's, oh, I forgot this. Or yesterday we had an example of a ball going over someone's head, it hit the wall and it kind of trickled out, and there just wasn't enough hustle at all for me. So I'm working with the infield and I stop what I'm doing to address it. And as long as I have to keep addressing lack of hustle or lack of focus or lack of priority, we're always going to remain a 6. And I have told them that plenty of times. And every time I come to the circle and I have to say, okay, this happened today, they know it. So I have got to count on my upperclassmen, especially I think those super seniors, to just, the phrase I use is to get your house in order. And immediately they think, oh gosh, how does she know my room isn't clean? No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's like your life events, get them in order and take care of your business like women do. Like kids are the ones that forget things all the time, or they don't prioritize, or they don't care enough. And you need to start caring more. You need to start putting your house in order. So that's where we are. A lot of it is not even based on the field and the play, but it does affect what we do. So what we have started to do now is create like a blue collar day where after practice, they're all given job responsibilities. And last night we're raking leaves. We are blowing out the dugouts. We are down on our hands and knees, picking up little pieces in the indoor, trash from the indoor. They're picking up trash behind the grandstands. I mean, they are sweeping off the turf. So everybody's got jobs. And I'm like, you got to learn how to take care of your house. So this is our house. If you want to know what it means to keep your house in order, this stadium's going to be in order as long as we're here. So we've changed a few things and put them to work, and trying to continue to create like this blue collar effort. And just girls to women. We still have too much girl mentality. We need to change.
You've been someone as a coach who's involved in every aspect of what you said, knowing about their lives and knowing what motivates them and knowing what they're doing off the field, away from the field, whatever it is in their personal lives. Apparently, rule-wise, as a head coach, you're not allowed to involve yourself in their NIL deals or whatever it is that they've got outside of softball. How do you adapt to that as a coach in 2022, where this is a new phenomenon? And I guess what you're talking about is put a rake in their hand and say, go rake the infield. Simple as that.
No, I'm just trying to get them to understand about work and stop leaving it to everyone else. I guess that's what I'm trying to teach, is like, I forgot my socks. I'm going to go into the equipment room and ask for a pair of socks, and everybody keeps bailing you out, and we're not going to do that anymore. So we wait for our people here to clean our dugout. We're going to do it ourselves now. So it's kind of taking away some of this deserved priority towards what they believe that they are the priority. We've changed a little bit of that. The NIL, it's a helpless feeling as a coach. And I'm not saying that the NIL is creating these things, because I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. And that's where every coach would tell you, like, your hands are tied, because, like, again, these are 18 and 19-year-olds making decisions that I don't even know about. Until someone might tell me by happenstance. I don't know. I don't ask them. So I can't tell you that the NIL is, Jocelyn Allo has some deals, and I do know that, and she is working and she's playing hard and she is focused. So I can't say that every player on our team is in that position, but I do think some are very young to be handling some of the things that are coming their way. I don't know that all of them have agents, or so maybe my parents are making these decisions, so forth. It's hard to know, but I just think we just need a little more accountability and maturity.
Great
And
insight. Great insight.
may or
Thank
may
you so
not.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Go Jenny Carlson.
Patty, have you ever done anything like that with any other teams in terms of like cleaning, and is that something you've done before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I do it with, like, I'm taking away, just so, because if you say this, someone will think, oh, she's doing it after her hours of, we do it during our practice time. So it's part of our practice. I end early to allow them to do that. So I absolutely have had plenty of this happen throughout my career.
I wanted to ask you, said earlier when you were talking about bringing Hope onto the roster, having 3 really good pitchers. And, you know, it wasn't that long ago that a team could make the Women's College World Series, maybe even make a run at a championship with a ace. And now that seems like that's over. Why has that happened? Why has college softball gone away from the days of a single ace that can get you far?
I am a good living example of what that felt like through Paige Parker. And it was a while ago, but I can still remember the feelings of being extremely uncomfortable, pushing her to a limit that I was uncomfortable with. Throwing every inning and every pitch of every game from the regional through the World Series. And I don't want to damage an athlete's life. Those are things I really don't want to be responsible for. And I just knew I remember feeling after that, we won the World Series. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I cannot just ride Jordy Ball to the promised land because I'm going to potentially ruin her career. And I don't want to do that. So really making sure we always have 3 very quality pitchers to work together. And we've got Macy McAdoo, who's getting better every day. She could be an option for us as well. So it's just too much these days for one arm to handle. It's a different level of stress.
When you think about Paige and that time, and maybe it's accelerated, or maybe it's the same as it was then, but is it the amount of high level games that you find yourself in a season? Is it the quality of more quality teams you're going against? Like when you think about how much you had to push Paige, is there, I guess, maybe the why behind that? Because I mean, the number of games, I guess, in innings could potentially be about the same as maybe like, 90 or 95, 1990, 1995, but like something's changed, obviously, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think the level of teams, the level of offense is quite different. It's 1 through 9. It's not like 1 through 5, and then you can get away with pitches after that. Mm-hmm. I think the swings are harder. The bats are more aggressive. There's just so much behind it, but I just feel the level of play every year is at a whole nother level. And you see new teams like Duke and Clemson and teams like that. It's not like 1 through 5. It's like truly 1 through 20. And probably like 1 through 12 to 15 that can truly win a national championship. That takes a toll for sure. And I don't know, being now super regional, we used to just kind of have regionals and then go to the World Series. That was a while ago, but back then pitchers could handle that. So now you're adding a whole nother weekend with the super regional as well.
Thanks, Patty.
Yep.
We'll go with Ryan Chapman.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to circle back to what Ryan asked you about off the top, just dealing with the jet lag and the recovery. We have these conversations a lot during the World Series and postseason of being able to go through that recovery. Is it similar to being able to draw on just your wealth of experience of getting teams through those events, or is it a different kind of recovery that you guys have to undergo because it's more of a jet lag than just pure exhaustion of being on the field every single day for 3 weekends?
Yeah, I've got some really good people in my corner, from our athletic trainer to our strength coach Dane to JT. There's a lot of science behind what they're doing, and it's quite interesting. So very big on naps. We've got some hammocks that we have for them at any time, all the time, if they need them, if they wanted to take a nap here at the field. It's just about recovery. It's about eating. It's about timing of sleep. There's just so much that goes into it. And we got to trust. And this is where that 6 comes in. We got to trust that these guys are doing this stuff on their own. And if they're not, it will show in our practices. So it's going to be interesting for me today and tomorrow to see who is able to get moving and who is still living in that jet lag space. So today will be a telling afternoon for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Sure.
I think we'll go last one to Joe Bettner.
Hey, Patty. I wanted to kind of go back just the transfers that we talked to today, and I know that's not every year. You've had Jana Johns, Giselle, Alyssa Brito, but I'm curious when the transfer portal came about, was that something you were hesitant about? Were you apprehensive about like the implications of it, or do you feel like it for you personally it's something that you've embraced?
I wasn't in favor of it when it was happening. I think mainly because it's an easy out for kids and for athletes. And I like the kid that will stay and fight and find a place on the field eventually, instead of I'm a freshman, you're not giving me opportunity, I'm leaving. Freshmen need time to grow. And that is why I've tried to start redshirting a couple of our freshmen to help that cause and keep them with us. At first, I wasn't a fan of it. And now I'm like, okay, you want to go find a program that fits you. At the same time, I'm going to find an athlete that fits us and fits our needs. So I'm still not a fan of just see you, bye. Let me get all of that. Let me get all this from you and bye. But I also am a fan of finding the right place for you so you can have a career. So I get that. But the portal has been good to us. It's been from Gianna Johns to Hope, Giselle, Shannon. I'm talking about athletes that have helped us win national championships. So it has been good to us. And as long as it's alive, and it will be alive as long as sport is going on, I believe we're going to use it to our advantage.
I was gonna say this might be a better question for maybe some of your peers, but I mean, do you feel like with kind of how much you've seen softball rules change and transfer, just the new stuff that's come up and NIL, just has that been for you personally a tough thing to adjust to, or is that do you feel like maybe it's been easy to just kind of like, well, this is just part of the game now. We're going to adapt and we're still going to do our thing.
Yeah, I can have opinions, but nobody cares. Nobody. So I just go with it. Like if I know the transfer portal is here, I am going to make the most of it for this program. If I know NILs are here, I'm just going to make sure that our athletes are still focused and playing the way they need to. Because ultimately, say with an NIL, if you aren't producing, where does your NIL go? I mean, I think it probably goes away, your opportunities. So in the same sense, I'm pushing them to give them opportunities in those spaces as well. So yeah, I don't know. I've got to embrace it all, because if I don't, I'm going to get jumped over by everyone and everything.
Just very quickly, I mean, is there anyone that implemented that idea to you? Maybe a former coach or employer?
My husband does a lot. He follows a lot, and he, you know, I can't change certain things. I think I could change with when I speak, but there's some things that I know are so above me that you just got to figure out how to maneuver it, manipulate it to make it work for you. So there's no one in particular. It's just, if you got to stay ahead of the game, that's how I look at it. I got to stay ahead of every other program. How am I going to do that? So then it's coaches strategizing and talking about it.
Gotcha. Thanks so much, Patty. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Please, one more in for Jenny Carlson.
Yeah. Hey, Patty, while we're talking about this Hawaii trip, got me thinking about, you were saying, you know, they got to experience the culture. You guys didn't just like fly out and immediately play. You were there, and obviously all these things on the back end to try to get them back into playing shape. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and it strikes me that to hear you talk about the way that this trip, I mean, it's sort of a microcosm of how things have evolved. There was a day and time where that sort of thing would not have happened. How much of a reflection do you feel like this is for just the support and the you know, just what you have as a program, and what the administration and all that have enabled you guys to be able to do something like that?
Yeah, I just am so appreciative of Joe allowing this trip to happen. It's expensive. It's a very expensive trip. And we were trying to do it in 2020, and COVID kind of shut all of this down. So this was our only shot. And so I appreciate him allowing it to happen. But what is really surreal to us is that we show up in Hawaii and they are packing the stands, and behind left field fence, there is a parking structure, and it is packed. 5 stories of people lined up in the parking structure trying to watch a female break a home run record. And then Barry Bonds reaches out to Jocelyn Allo, among many sports figures who have reached out to a female college athlete. That is advancement. That is talking about 50 years, what this sport has done, and the excitement and the energy and the love for the game that has been created is off the charts. And I am so happy and proud to be coaching in this moment. And I don't see it changing. I see it growing. Like, I know at Hall of Fame Stadium on Saturday, they have sold out the bottom bowl. That's 5,000 fans. Plus they're trying to sell some standing room only. So now we're playing these 5 teams, or we have 5 games at a Hall of Fame Stadium, and there are 5,000 people watching a non-conference. And to me, that's off the charts. So now I'm looking at our new stadium going, Joe, wait a minute, maybe we need to rethink the outfield and some bigger stadiums, bleachers or something. So we're already looking at what this could be. I don't want to underestimate what's happening, but 5,000 people to see Iowa, Indiana, San Diego, Stephen F. Austin. And I mean, it's a wow factor to us. So I see it continuing to grow and grow and grow. Even when I'm not in it, I trust that it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
We're going to get a Barry Bonds, Jocelyn Allo batting cage segment here at some point.
I hope we can create something. That would be incredible to watch. Incredible.
Thanks, Patty.
Sure.
Thanks a bunch, Coach. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Patty.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Patty. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yep.